Most leaders pick the wrong content format. Here's how to avoid that mistake. Be honest with yourself for a second. Have you ever felt like you probably should be doing more thought leadership, but you're not totally sure what that actually looks like in practice? Maybe you caught yourself thinking things like, should I start a podcast? Do I need to be writing long articles? Is posting on LinkedIn actually enough? Why does everyone else seem so much more visible than me? You have the expertise. You have real, hard-won experience. You've earned a perspective that genuinely matters. But turning all that into consistent, visible authority, that's where things get murky really fast. And the last thing you want to do is burn time and energy building the wrong thing. Does that sound familiar? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 types of thought leadership content, what each one actually is, when it makes sense to use it, and how to figure out which format is the right fit for you specifically. Because here's what we've learned from working with executives over and over again. Authority isn't about doing everything. It's about making deliberate choices and following through on them. We'll start by getting clear on what actually counts as thought leadership, because not everything people call thought leadership actually qualifies. Then I'll take you through all 7 core formats, from original research reports to executive social reports to contrarian frameworks. And at the end, I'll give you a simple decision guide so you know exactly where to start. Stick around, because most leaders make the same predictable mistakes when they try to build authority. I'll show you exactly what that is and how to sidestep it. Hey, I'm Corey. I lead video production here at Thought Marketing Agency, and we work with founders, CEOs, and executive leaders to help them turn their expertise into real, measurable influence without piling more hours onto their work week or juggling 5 different vendors. All right, let's get into the topic for today. First, what actually counts as thought leadership? Let's be direct about this, because there's a lot of noise out there. Thought leadership is not company updates, product announcements, motivational quotes, or we're excited to share posts. Real thought leadership is 3 things working together: a clear point of view, plus proof that backs it up, plus something genuinely useful to the person who's reading it. It shifts how a decision maker thinks or changes how they act. If it doesn't do that, it's marketing. And marketing has its place, don't get me wrong, but leadership content moves conversations forward in a way that marketing just doesn't. So the first piece of authority content I want to highlight is the original research report. This is the proprietary data, a survey, a benchmark study, or an original analysis shaped into a narrative that people actually want to read. When do you use it? When you need to establish authority quickly. Data creates gravity. It gives you something concrete to point to, and it opens the door to PR and media coverage in ways that opinion pieces simply just don't. An example would be the state of your industry in 2026, the one metric that nobody's talking about. Notice how that owns a specific position? That's the goal. Simple place to start: write 5 survey questions, then decide which headline metric you want to be known for. The next type of thought leadership content is long-form pillar guide. This is your evergreen go-to resource, the piece that lives on your site and keeps pulling people in month after month. When should you use it? When you want long-term inbound visibility that doesn't require you to constantly feed the machine. This is the piece people bookmark, the one they forward internally, the one they reference 6 months after they first read it. Start by outlining 5 core sections and add 1 clear next step to an audit, a checklist, or a framework. Keep it practical. That's what makes it last. Okay, third, the educational webinar or video lesson. This is structured teaching, real organized instruction built around something your audience actually needs to understand. When do you use it? When the topic is genuinely nuanced and when trust needs to be built before someone is ready to buy. This format works especially well for complex services where people need to understand the problem before they can appreciate the solution. Define 3 clear learning outcomes, then build a tight 20-minute agenda around them. Clarity is what builds trust here, not length, so keep it short and simple. The 4th type of content is a podcast or expert roundtables. This format builds credibility through real conversation. You're not just demonstrating what you know, you're showing how you think in real time, alongside people your audience already respects. When does it work best? When relationships are the currency of your industry. When credibility is network-driven rather than credential-driven. Identify 5 guests you genuinely respect, then draft questions designed to provoke real insights, not just rehearsed answers they give every other interview. Another type of authority-building content: executive social posts plus personal narratives. This is consistent weekly visibility and is dramatically underestimated by most executives. When should you use it? When you want to stay top of mind without building a massive production operation around it. Here's a simple 3-part structure that works well. What I used to believe, what changed, and what I actually do now. That's leadership. That's evolution made visible. Write down 10 lessons you've learned in the past year and turn just one of them into a post for this week. The 6th type of content, case studies plus failure analysis. This is proof, and not just success stories, that failures matter too. Failure analysis is genuinely powerful because it signals depth. It tells people you understand things at a level that goes beyond the typical highlight reel. When do you use it? When buyers are skeptical, when the stakes are high, and when they need more than just your word for it. Write it out in 6 beats. Problem, approach, result, lesson. Keep it clear, direct, and honest. That's what makes it credible. Finally, the 7th type of thought leadership content is the contrarian point of view with proprietary framework. This is differentiation. In a crowded market, playing it safe means disappearing. When should you use this? When you need to stand out clearly apart from everyone else in your space. When the industry is saturated with people saying the same things in slightly different ways. Write your contrarian thesis in a single sentence, then list 3 pieces of evidence that back it up. If you can't defend it comfortably, it needs more refinement, not more boldness. Now when it comes to distributing your content, pick 2 primary channels and own them completely. For most executives, LinkedIn and email work exceptionally well together. Then build simple amplification ladder. 1 flagship asset turns into 3 posts or short clips, feeds 1 email, and that becomes 1 sales enablement piece. Authority compounds when you amplify it with intention. It stalls when you create and then just disappear. Lastly, it's important to measure the success of your content. Don't obsess over likes. Seriously, instead, pay attention to engagement from people with the job titles you actually care about, or leads you can trace back to content, webinar, or event signups. And watch for the qualitative signals too. Are decision makers actually replying to your posts? Is your content being forwarded around internally at target companies? Are speaking imitations starting to come in? Measure over months, not days. Authority is cultivated, it's not viral. Thought leadership isn't about being everywhere. It's about being intentional. Pick the right flagship format, build it properly, distribute it consistently. That's the whole system. If you want help designing and managing the entire authority engine strategy, production, distribution, all of it, head over to thoughtmarketingagency.com. We have a free strategy call and we'll help you pinpoint the right starting point based on your actual goals and situation. You deserve a system that builds real influence without creating chaos. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.